Shalom. Peace be with you. My name is Joseph. I'm from the house of David. I guess in your day you would say I'm David McMaster, or I'm Joseph Chisholm from the house of Chisholm. But in my day we said I'm from the ancestor David. I don't know really where to begin. The story started when I was betrothed to a young woman by the name of Mary. I guess you would say you were engaged now. But in those days, it was very similar. The families would get together. We would, check the records in Jerusalem to make sure that we weren't too closely related. And the betrothal would last probably a year or perhaps even more. And it was like being married. I guess I was, as Joseph, I was more like the bride of the father. I was in the background all the time, but I paid the bills. One day, Mary went to visit her cousin Elizabeth. And when she came back, she was quite upset. But she wouldn't tell me what was bothering her. I tried to get her to talk to me, but she wouldn't talk. And finally, she told me. She said, I'm pregnant. Now, I'm a carpenter, but I know how babies are born. And I had nothing to do with it. I was shocked, ashamed. And then I thought, well, I will do the decent thing. I will divorce her as we would then, even though we were betrothed, not legally married. But I would do the decent thing and divorce her so that she would not come to shame. Because a woman who was having an affair in those days was stoned to death. It troubled me a lot until one night, a messenger came to me. Now, I am a carpenter. I'm not a prophet. Messengers and angels come to prophets, not carpenters. But this messenger came to me and said, Joseph, fear not, for the most magnificent thing has happened. You will not understand. Well, I'm a carpenter. I don't understand anyway. But the thing was, you do not worry. Do what is right. Do the will of God. And I thought, my goodness, how could I do this? How could I do this? How could I do this? So I went to Mary and I said, Mary, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that this was a work of God. So life went on. Mary moved to Hebron because she was living in a little town of Nazareth, sort of like Plainfield, and everybody knew everybody. And of course, as she grew, people would talk. So finally, Herod, who was a puppet of Rome, decided that we would do a census, which meant that everybody had to return to their hometown to be counted for, guess what? Taxes. So being from the house of David, David's clan was born and raised in Bethlehem. So he had to make a journey of about 90 miles from Hebron to Bethlehem. Unfortunately, Mary was quite pregnant. And the little donkey took her. She did not complain all the way to Bethlehem. And of course, we get there and people are there for the census. We can't find any room to stay in. The innkeeper felt sorry and he said, but there's a stable out back. He said, it's not warm, but it's not cold. So we went to the stable. There was something beautiful about it. There was an old oxen. There was a donkey. There was a mother sheep with a little lamb. The innkeeper's wife found a midwife to come and help Mary. And they made a little bed in the manger. and she delivered a little child. I did not know what was happening. I'm a carpenter. You know, when you say, well, there's a song you sing at Christmas about the child, no crying he makes. That baby wailed. He has a great set of lungs. Anyway, in a few days, the crowds went home, and I decided to stay on in Bethlehem for a short time because I could find work as a carpenter there. And on the seventh day, we went to Jerusalem, to the temple, to do the circumcision. The strange thing was, in the temple was a prophet. And he had been there for years, coming and going, because he said that God promised him he would see the Messiah before he died. So when Mary and I brought the baby into the temple, he came forward and he was praising God and he was saying, it truly is the Messiah. I can now die in grace. I was kind of worried about what he was saying. The Messiah? This is our little baby. So there was also an older lady. I think her name was Anna. And when she saw us talking, she came over and she said, praise God, this is the Messiah. She said, you have been granted great joy. But she turned and she said to Mary, your heart will be pierced with a sword. Now, did you ever think about running? Like, what is going on here? I just wanted to take Mary and go back to Nazareth and enjoy a quiet life. I didn't know where to turn, what to do. And Herod, he got it into his head once again, not only attacks this time, but he was jealous of the baby. And he said, I am setting out another decree. Where was that baby born? In Bethlehem. Okay. They say that the signs came 2 years ago. I want every male child in Bethlehem killed from 2 years to now. Again, a messenger came to me in the middle of the night and said, Joseph, you must run. You must leave. But why? Because Herod is going to kill your baby. You must flee away from the Roman Empire. So where did we go? We went to Egypt.